Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Falai, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Last episode, we, had a brief conversation with the grieving mother where she seems to be hiding some information about things a bit. We won't be able to get more information for a little while, so we're gonna leave her be for now. We also took care of delivering some information for the Crucible Knights, only to come back and discover that the Forge Knights they made were uncontrolled. We basically said, yeah, this is a bad idea. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this. And the guy agreed, yeah, okay, this was a bad idea. Anyway, we can now get invited to, we've now basically gotten access to the meetings on Animancy with the Duke. So we're going to go and, let what's-her-name know about this. Over in Hodgson.
The Brotherhood?
Oh.
He hated me anyway. I was glad to be gone. The Dukes are my parents now. The Republics, my children.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Indeed it is. Oh yes, and I said at the last episode that I was considering going to somewhere that I couldn't get into. It turns out we can't because of the direction we went. We'll be able to get to it later. Anyway, moving on. Alright, let's head this way. Speak with Lady Webb and let her know that we have access.
How fares your search?
Before we do, if I'm going to do this for you, I think it's time you told me everything about Thyos.
I've told you everything you need to know.
But not everything.
It's only right that you know everything. When I was younger, before Dunreed Row, I had many suitors. These were fine-looking men of good stock, but I could see their thoughts, and they were unimpressive. Boys' thoughts. I toyed with their affections. I resented all of them. And then I met a man whose mind was a mystery to me. But he understood me. He knew me at a glance. Told me things I didn't know about myself. He was neither handsome nor charming, but he was all I ever wanted.
You're talking about Thyos.
We made a game of my gift. He would ask me about people, and I would tell him what they were thinking. Sometimes the information was very sensitive. And then one day he asked me if I trusted him. I said I did. Next I knew I was donning a silver mask and swearing oaths to Woodica. Using my gift for the Leaden Key still felt like a game to me, so I did it. I did it because it pleased him.
But clearly it didn't last.
I don't like living in the dark. It's a powerless, hopeless feeling. Every day I did things without knowing their purpose. Every day I loved a man without knowing his thoughts of me. I sensed that there were things he wanted to tell me. I sensed that he knew everything the Leaden Key was created to hide. But Thyos was unyielding. One day I disappeared without a word. He would kill me for it, and I knew that. It's their rule. I just wanted to see him plunge the knife, because then I would know. But the day never came. He has left me to wonder. I have devoted my years to learning everything I could about him, in hopes I would find some clue as to who he really was, and why he felt he had to keep his secrets locked away. I have precious little to show for it. Just an old woman nagged by old thoughts. And that is truly everything I can tell you about Thyos. I hope you will accept this embarrassing story as a show of my good faith.
As you wish. Thank you for the information. I want to discuss the Animancy hearings.
What of them?
The Knights of the Crucible have accepted me into their delegation.
Good. Avar Wolfgren looks to the Crucible Knights as a voice of reason and order. Speaking from their section should lend you credibility with him. You need waste no more time here. Get to the palace. Make your case to the Duke. With him on our side, all of Deerwood can be mobilized against the Leaden Key, and Theos can be rooted out. I only wish I could be there to see it. There is a very old bottle of a very good brandy that I have been saving for a special day. If you hurry back afterward, there may be a little left for you. Off with you. You're going to do very well in there.
Alright then. Let's head to the Ducal Palace immediately. We have nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. Alright, we've made it over. Let's see if we can get in here. Place has been reserved for you on the balcony, Leniara. Go to the upper floor. Alright, balcony it shall be. Let's see what happens. We received word from Commander Cliver that you would be attending. The balcony has been opened for you. Perfect. The room below is animated amidst a heated debate. All the representative groups are easily discerned in the crowd. Crucible Knights, stiff in their noisy armor, sit in one section. In another are well-dressed members of House Domenel, casual, watching with a predator's interest. Still elsewhere are the ramshackle dozens, who have made no special effort to dress up for their liege lord. Interspersed are animancers in their academics' robes, with expressions either sour or concerned.
Well then, answer me this, Master Barash. If you Animancers represent our best hope to cure the legacy, what progress can you demonstrate?
At the back of the chamber sits the Duke, sprawled in his throne, worn down but alert and feisty nonetheless.
Ramir de Barask is originally from Palminia. He's one of the finest minds in Animancy to come out of the Valian Republics. He left for Defiance Bay 5 years ago, because he believed this was the true heart of Animancy research.
In Palagina's words, in the way she looks at her countrymen, you sense both pride and a mild sense of frustration.
As I've said, it isn't about progress, it's about potential.
My house would agree, Your Grace. We see great potential in its future.
And I suppose your blazing profits during the legacy don't have nothing to do with that, do they, Dominel? You can't have it both ways no more! Animancy goes, or this country goes!
So you admit, Master Barask, that Animancy is no closer to stopping the legacy than it ever was.
No, we've had many promising experiments. Cadman Azo has shown...
Cadman Azo murdered a child. For a complete failure. We should be hanging him right now for what he done. The dozens won't stand for it.
Azo's already dead.
There is no need. Master Azo recently passed the Shroud, and while the experiment failed, his work...
His work was sabotaged.
Ah, our new delegate from the Knights of the Crucible. What makes you say sabotage?
All at once, the attendees turn their faces toward you, a mishmash of judgment and incredulity. Only the Duke, a wild-looking man with a scraggly beard, seems unfazed by your interruption. I met a false patient in Brackenbury Sanitarium who had tampered with Azo's machinery.
The fuck's that even matter? These are people who would toy with the lives of our children.
Indeed. Even assuming there was sabotage, is this Animancer Azo not still accountable here?
This is not the Bale Reach incident. This is a responsible scientist who was manipulated. What Azo did to Graham was not the work of a responsible scientist.
Horseshit! These Animancers can't be trusted! Look at what happened in Heritage Hill! Our supposed protectors from Crucible Keep can't even clean up the messes Animancy leaves!
Your Grace, we'd have a much easier time of it if our knights weren't so occupied trying to keep their organization from igniting a revolution on our very doorstep.
Heritage Hill is blood on your hands, Justicia! You turn a blind eye, and look what happens.
The Crucible Knights are blameless here. This was not the workings of Animancy, but an ancient device in Ter Noneth.
You've some strange taste in travels, friend. The height of your tales expands with every breath.
My word is my oath. I challenge anyone here to find someone who knows different.
I had heard whispers of a new delegate set to attend today's hearing. I admit that your candor was mentioned more than once. Tell us what you saw in Heritage Hill.
Ter Noneth houses an Engwithan machine that holds dominion over the flow of souls. It was this machine that made the district undead. Do you think that was the machine's purpose, or just a dire side effect? But then why would the Engwithans build such a machine at all?
Even if it is as you say, we have testimony that a group of animancers had been spending time there. Surely their tinkering had something to do with this.
I have reason to believe there were others at the tower who might have done this.
Animancy has many enemies. You need only look around this room to see it.
You're missing the point. Everywhere there's animancers, there's disaster. We all know what Widewind's legacy's really about. And it ain't about some sparkling saint from Creed Ceres who's mad because he took a stroll down the wrong bridge.
Ha! Wrong bridge indeed.
It's about a bunch of so-called intellectuals fucking with the natural order while the rest of us gotta suffer for it.
Is it, though? Should we not take the time to reach a clear conclusion? I mean, what proof do we have?
My son and daughter are buried beneath the floor of my house. We don't own no land, so that's where we lay them. My son. My wife let him slip when she was bathing him. Got water in his lungs he couldn't cough up. My daughter? We put her to bed one night, and the next morning she wasn't breathing. This Hollowborn thing, it ain't ending. And it ain't ending because we still let these charlatans play God. There's your proof, you damn copper fucker!
Enough, Adric. Lady Dominel makes a point. If it's animancy, then why do the other states that permit the practice not suffer the same fate? Who among us can say he truly understands why the legacy has taken hold here?
I can. The crowd begins to mutter, the sound taking a doubtful character. Right idea, Watcher, taking this hearing by the curly ones. Don't waste your chance. Widewind's legacy is the creation of the Leaden Key. Cadman Azzo's downfall was their work, as was the tower in Heritage Hill. They want you to do this. They want Animancy to fall. The dull muttering expands into a din of skepticism that fills the hall. I have seen them in the ruins of Erglanfath, operating machines that disrupt and redirect the flow of souls, near towns like Gilded Vale and Deerford, where the legacy is universal. As a watcher, I have heard their dead confess their plot. They are stealing the souls of the unborn.
Beasts. Another lunatic at the hearing. Did you remember to lock your sanitarium before you left, Master Barask?
If he did for your husband's sake, I hope he at least left the brothel unlocked. If, as the Duke says, no theory has more proof than any other, what is the harm in hearing one more?
You must know, friend, that the Leaden Key is a mantle for small-time ruffians and children at play. I'm not saying you're a liar. Not yet. But you'd better start making sense of all this. Help us believe you.
What's more likely, that the gods are destroying Deerwood for a science practiced in many parts of the world, or that a group of people hates Animancy and wants it suppressed? The Leaden Key is very real. They're foreigners from Adir and Riad Ceres who hate Deerwood and want to see it suffer. Let's say a lord is cuckolded by his wife. If he tells her to stop, she'll only want her lover more. But if he spreads a rumor that her lover had just visited a brothel and acquired a pox on his loins, she'll end it on her own. We all want the same thing here. We want Widewind's legacy to end if we work together instead of arguing. If you know anything about me... I'm tempted to do the cuckolded by his wife one, because that's funny, but... if you know anything about me, you know this. I have been called many things, but never a liar. An honest witness is the best piece of evidence you have in this matter.
The only piece of evidence.
The only piece of evidence that doesn't send your kind to the gallows, you mean?
You've made an unexpected case, friend. I'll say that much. It seems we have a new possibility to consider, at the very least. How was it you came to learn all this?
I took a personal interest in the matter and tried to learn what I could.
Indeed. This land is foreign to you, unless I miss my guess. Your efforts on its behalf are to be commended. But these hearings are about more than Widewind's legacy, even though that is our most pressing concern. Let's say for the moment that I were to take you at your word that our friends in Brackenbury Sanitarium and their peers bear no responsibility for this curse upon my country. I'm curious, what would you do if you were in my position?
The Animancers of Deerwood have been given too long a leash. The practice should be restricted and controlled, but not stopped entirely. Pallegina shoots a glance your way, her eyebrows furrowing in annoyance. And just who would regulate it? Charlatans like Azo, or fools like Ethelmere, clueless as to what goes on within their own walls?
Very well. That is all I wish to hear. Not just from you, but from everyone. Many days we've been at this. It is time we put it to rest. I want to thank the delegations for helping me to collect my thoughts. In particular, I want to thank our new delegate, who has given me much to think about, and who alerted me to a new enemy I had failed to see. The time has come to choose a direction for the Deerwood. I am ready to make my pronouncement. Ramir de Barash, representing the interests of Animancers in Deerwood, step forward.
Your Grace.
Uh-oh.
It occurs to me now that my concerns about Animancy may not outweigh its value.
Forgive me, Your Grace. We will accept no judgment but our own.
What's he doing?
Oh no.
No, wait!
Stop this at once!
Oh crap. This isn't good.
I've given you every chance to end this pursuit. Shall I end it for you? Another time. I am already late.
And I faint? The words, "Shall I end it for you," ring in your ears. You find yourself gasping for breath, struggling to keep your own balance. You drop to a knee and watch as Theos hurries out of the building. The world dims around you, the screams and clashing of weapons fading to silence. All that remains are the words.
Shall I end it for you?
Theos stands at a pulpit high above an assembly of robed onlookers, you among them, clustered around a wide, circular pit carved of stone. He addresses a woman bound backward over a large iron wheel overlooking the great stone maw. Many of the woman's fingers and toes are severed, and the bottoms of her feet are charred black. The skin on one side of her face looks like melted candle wax, black and red and seeping, and the angle of her back suggests a spine in ruins. Yet for all that, her expression betrays little of her anguish.
I am already at peace, Grand Inquisitor. Are you?
Her eyes are barely open, and her words come between strangled breaths, but they are steady, unbroken.
So be it. If you desire no end, you shall have none. I find you guilty of heresy. May the eternal prison bar your soul from passage, for it is beyond redemption.
He nods to a hooded attendant who begins untying her from the wheel. Dominion of the Sleepers. You open your eyes to the beamed ceilings of the palace's grand entry hall. The clangs of metal striking metal waft in from outside alongside the cries of the injured as you stagger to your feet. Theos is gone. Lodiara! Kana moves to your side, looking around anxiously. I hope you're fit to walk, because we can't stay here any longer. Off to one side, you can hear the clinking rustle of chainmail, and you look over to see a wounded guard slumped against the wall. He's trying to say something, seemingly directed at you, but at first it is too faint to hear. He gathers his breath and manages to rasp out a few words. Lady Webb, she's the only... She must be told. She'll know what to do. Please, find her. Tell her everything. The guard passes out and slides to the floor, still. Quickly. We must get to Lady Webb. Don't go out there. There's rioting in the streets. Uh-oh. That's worrying. That's very worrying. Well, there it is. Definitely rioting. Stand down. We don't want to fight you. You picked your side. Oh dear. Rioting in the streets is right. Quick. We have to get to Lady Webb. Those lot are in league with the Animancers. Take back our city. Oh boy. This way then. And this place is also... Oh dear. They're burning down the sanitarium too. Somehow this doesn't surprise me. Go! Run before they see you!
How do you do?
I recognize you. You were the one who spoke up at the hearing. What were you doing? I got a few of the Animancers out of the building through the back. A lot of them didn't make it out, though. Aren't you with the dozens? I was. Things I heard at the hearing today, though. I had it all backwards. If it was good enough for the Duke, it was good enough for me. I don't care if an Animancer did kill him. It doesn't mean we gotta hold them all responsible. This isn't what we're supposed to be about. I have to go. Get out of sight. Wait this thing out. Good luck, friend. Quick, let's get inside. Oh dear. Bodies. This is very not good. Is there anyone left here alive? In fact, this worries me greatly. If everyone here is dead, then what of Lady Webb? Okay, no one else is left alive here. Quick, head upstairs. More bodies. Something tells me she didn't survive. Who killed all of these, though? It couldn't have been the dozens. Hodred House wasn't involved. Or at least they don't know Hodred House was involved. Could it have been Theos? Oh dear. Oh dear. Lady Webb lies still in her bed, an ornate cushion propping her back upright. The blood pooled beneath a gash in her chest is tacky and nearly dry. A shattered glass rests on the floor beneath her dangling hand. You can feel the faint aura of her fading essence in your ken. Reach out for it. You make contact and are immersed in a torrent of sensory input and experience. When it calms, you find yourself in the same room, lying in bed with a glass of brandy in your hand. Through the walls from the streets outside come the sounds and screams and shattering glass and the cacophony of an angry mob. You take a sip and it warms your gullet. Across the room, the door opens behind a patient, steady push. Into the room walks Theos, the floorboards creaking beneath deliberate steps. You wait until the last of the brandy has trickled down your throat before you speak.
I was a fool to think I could tame these people.
You came closer than most.
A fine epitaph.
No worse than any.
You are concentrating, focusing with all of your energy. It feels as though you are diving into a stone wall over and over, but it cracks suddenly, unexpectedly, allowing the vaguest wisp of a thought to leak through.
What's in Twin Elms?
Did you pull that from my thoughts?
I've had time to practice.
He walks over to a small table and raises a half-empty brandy bottle to eye level. He seems to approve of the selection and begins to reach for an empty glass.
I was saving that for someone.
Pity. You know this is how it has to be.
He replaces the brandy bottle on the table with care before approaching the bedside. He sits on the edge of the bed next to you. His words come freely, absent of all doubt. He draws a long, curved knife from his belt, smeared with fresh blood. With his left hand, he gently pins your sternum as he raises the knife in the other, its point dangling above your heart.
Prove it.
Theos slips the knife between your ribs and pushes it through. Layers of tissue separate with brittle, papery stiffness, and blood wells up around the blade. A pulsive reflex causes you to drop your glass to the floor, and you hear it shatter. With the last of your strength, you take his knife hand in both of yours, a question radiant in your mind. For an instant, to your great surprise, the pathway to his mind is left open to you, unguarded, and the answer comes. Simple, cataclysmic in its reordering of your thoughts. As Lady Webb, you feel as though you have an answer you've searched for all your life, but in your own mind, her understanding lies just beyond your reach. You look back at Theos with the wide eyes of someone seeing for the first time, and draw your last breath as a black, velvety darkness descends over you.
Smoke rises above the city walls in billowing plumes that blacken the sky like a storm. Behind the walls, the riots rage on. Known patrons of Animancy are forced into hiding as looters ransack their estates and make off with their possessions. Animancers are torn away from their families and dragged from their homes to be stoned to death in the streets. Word had spread immediately that Duke Avar had been assassinated, and that an Animancer was to blame. The city wasted little time in exacting revenge, and little effort into evaluating guilt. In the center of it all, Brackenberry Sanitarium burned. And down the lane, Hodred House, the last bastion of stability in the Deerwood, had fallen silent. Now safely outside the city gate, your path points eastward to Twin Elms, where Theos is bound, for reasons that remain mysterious as the Leaden Key itself.
Quest completed, the Hermit of Hodred House. Thought the mobs were pulled to keep apart stone by stone. The floods have receded. The path through Stormwall Gorge is open. Finally, even the villages are better than this. And we have a new quest available to us, Bound and Buried. I am going to assign the Devil of Karok to it. And with that, the city is closed to us. But it seems we must get to Twin Elms, and we get there through Stormwall Gorge. We have much we must explore, much further to go. And we'll see how this does eventually go. But for now, I am going to have to end this episode here. Next episode, we will begin our march. Until then, I am Cheswick44, also known as Falai. That is Laniara, Palagina, Kana, Dorans, Aloth, and Sagani. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time.